How's my sound, everybody? Can you hear me?
Yes.
But can you hear Yvonne? Let's get over and say hello.
I'm so happy to so many people. I have a large family, and they were all here with me. It's suitable, and it's a blessing. They always help me. They never forget me. Especially the one that does all my bookwork, all my errands. And she's always there for me. I never lack anything.
Are we rolling?
She knows what I have more than I do in my cupboard. So I enjoy her very much from the time she was born. She was born in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, in this section. And I played with her when she was just a little infant. Now I'm playing with her great-grandchildren. So it makes me good to see that they stay together and keep up with each other. And I think that's what a family is for. So,
Wow! That wasn't planned. That was total improv right there. That was spontaneous and beautiful. And I have to tell you, that's going to be true of today. We did not plan our answers to these questions. I did kind of interview the ladies briefly to get an idea of, what questions would be appropriate to whom. So I just want to welcome everyone to Centenarians Uncensored. And I'm Cindy Viveros, and I'm your host for this evening. And we're coming here to you live from Winslow Gardens, which is assisted and independent living here in East Providence, Rhode Island. And I have a really good audience tonight. I'm very excited that all of you came here. If you're not connected with us on Facebook, I strongly encourage you to do so, because you will have a chance to see your friends here on Facebook, because I'm always walking around with a camera and I'm snapping photos, aren't I? I'm awful that way. I love to catch people in all sorts of crazy, positions and circumstances. So, and then I put them on Facebook, so it's fun. So if you like us, it'll just come right into your news feed whenever I do some photos, post some photos. Also, if you'd like to learn more about United Methodist Eldercare, please check out our website at Eldercare.org. And on it, we have a section that is a blog, and it's called Our Community. And I write about different people here, and I reveal it all. Only if they let me, though. I get permission. And I post photos, and sometimes I even have little video clips, because I'm lucky enough to have a videographer who will take some really fun, make some fun little movies that I can post. So I encourage you to check out our community blog. So, I don't know if you all know what the word centenarian means, but just in case you don't, it means...
100 years old and over.
Oh, Abe always gets the answer. That's right. 100 years old and older. So you're a centenarian once you hit 100. Now, at United Methodist Eldercare, we have 3 facilities that we own, and one is Lynn Healthcare Center, Winslow Gardens, and then we have Arbor Hill over in Providence. And out of all the residents that we have, we only have 6 centenarians. Only. That's pretty good though, don't you think? 6 centenarians. Out of 6 centenarians, I only have 2 here tonight. It's been kind of a sad thing, because probably about 2 months ago I would have had 5 here. But, time and circumstances befall to all of us, and you know what happens. So, unfortunately, 4 of them are just not feeling up to par. They're here, but they're just not able to come out tonight. So I am going to get in and introduce my ladies. I'm going to start here with Yvonne, who we've already heard from today. This is Yvonne Mallow, and she is 100 years old, and her birthday is coming up in the summer, I believe, right? August. And she'll be 101 at that time. So that's another reason to celebrate. Over here on my right is Eleanor Del Santo. And Eleanor just celebrated her 102nd birthday. Yep. And because I only had 2 centenarians, I said that's not exactly a panel. So I kind of checked out who else was coming up on becoming a centenarian. And I came up with Helen Bednarczyk. Did I pronounce that right? Bednarczyk. Bednarczyk. And Helen is 98. She will be 98 next month. So let's give a hand to our ladies here. They're very brave to put themselves out there. And we're awfully grateful to you. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm going to start with some questions. The first person I'm going to start with is our eldest. Okay, so that's going to be you, Eleanor. And I'm going to ask you a question. What is the most interesting place you ever lived or ever visited in your lifetime?
Well, when my husband retired, we traveled. And our first trip was to 5 countries. Ireland, Italy, Spain, Portugal, and France. And I found that Ireland and Italian were most interesting because I made friends there. Many, many friends, family and friends. And I have many stories I could tell about both countries.
Excellent. That's great. Wow. I didn't realize we had such a world traveler here. That's pretty exciting. Yvonne, what is one of your fondest childhood memories?
I have quite a few. I used to babysit my brothers. I had seven brothers at the time. And they were all very good children because of my mother was such a good mother to all of them. And I never heard her yell, you know. It was very, very soft look. And she made everybody so happy. And she was a very good cook and taught us how to cook and how to do things for ourselves. One thing that she loved was sewing. So at a very young age, she showed me how to cut out some baby clothes. And she ended up making her own clothes for a while. She loved it. And she showed my children how to do things for themselves. My father died at a very young age, and she was alone to raise all these children. She was blessed.
She told me that he passed away when she was only 11 years old. So that must have been very difficult for you. But your mom sounds like she was a really wonderful person who was able to really pick up the slack in that family and really help.
I was very blessed. I didn't mind doing it because I enjoyed doing it myself. And they followed through. Most of the children are pretty close by, living, I mean. So that's a good point.
Excellent. Great. So she had to really pick up a lot of the slack for her mom, she was telling me. And she's a pretty strong woman. All right, now we go to our baby on the panel, Helen. Helen, I have a question. Did you work outside the home during your lifetime? And if so, what made you decide on the type of career that you had?
to get a job, but whatever you got your hand onto. I didn't decide on it. I got the job. And I worked in credits all my life working. And so I think I'm a pretty good judge of character. At least I hope. But I was successful in my job.
She tells me that she worked at K Jewelers.
Well, I worked there for 24 years. And 17 years for Sarah's. Till they went out of business.
Sorry. It might be easiest if I hold the microphone for some of you because there's a trick to it. And also so it doesn't end up somewhere else, like under the table and that sort of thing. Well, okay, so we have a career woman over here. Okay. And yeah, let's hear it. And I know that some of you also worked as well. I realized that you, I believe that all of you worked. Did you also work outside the home, Eleanor?
Yes, I did. I worked at Cherry and Webb. That was the only place I worked. After my 4 children went off to school and they didn't need my care as much, I decided at 57 to apply for a job. And I did get hired at Cherry and Webb. And I worked there for 10 years and retired at 67. And I enjoyed those 10 years immensely. I made so many friends. I learned a lot. And I don't regret that I did work at Cherry and Webb. It was worth it.
Plus you had really nice clothes, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so, and Yvonne, I don't recall, did you work outside the home as well?
You mean as a young girl, or
Sure.
I was working to help my mother, but I was working in a shop where they sew clothes, baby clothes, and that's how I learned to do something for myself.
Okay, excellent. So we have 3 career ladies here, sitting up here. I think that's pretty incredible. All right, now let's see. I think I have to go back to the baby again. Helen, what did you do for fun as a child? Think about that. What did you do when you were a child for fun?
Well, I played baseball. And I played volleyball. I liked that very much. That was on the playground, of course. And that's about it. I think no, I was too fat.
Okay. I don't know why I thought you roller skated. One of you probably told me you roller skated, and I'm getting it all messed up.
What was she too fat for?
She said roller skating. Okay, so Yvonne, what hobbies did you have growing up? What hobbies did you have growing up?
You mean hobbies to play, or,
For fun.
well, I learned how to play cards at a young age too, and that was my pastime. Going to bridge games and cribbage. I learned how to play cribbage from my husband. He was a good player, and that kept me busy.
Wow. So I'm learning of all these things too. I didn't realize that. Okay. Eleanor, how much did your first car cost?
$400.
And what type of car was it?
It was an orange station wagon, and my son, when I got got my license, I didn't have a car to drive, because my husband used his car to go to work with. So my son Nick says, Mom, you need a car. So he went to Warren and found a car for me, and I went to look at it, and I liked it, and I paid $400 for it. Well, the whole reason was I got my license. When my daughter turned 16, I said, Carol, you and I are going to get our license. But then I didn't have a car. That's why Nick had decided, Mom, you need a car. That's when he found me that orange station wagon. And I enjoy driving it, really.
It's just like us ladies, we never know the names of the cars. This is just orange, we know the color, and it's a station wagon. And what more do you need to know, right? Right? Okay, good. Where am I? I'm back to Helen. Helen, what is your greatest virtue? Now, don't be humble. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but you have bragging rights, and I think you should tell me. Can you think of a virtue?
No, I can't think of any.
Sure.
No,
A virtue.
my virtue is that I took care of my parents. Want to call that a virtue?
I think
And my father lived to 104.
Wow.
So, and he was never hospitalized or went to the doctor until at the end of his life. So,
I know a virtue. I know a virtue that
What's that?
you get along with everybody.
I do. I like people, and they seem to like me pretty well, too.
Exactly.
That's right. Wow. Wow. 104 her father was, and he never went to the hospital. She never got a break of taking care of him. Wow. So we can expect Helen to be here for a while. She's going to be on this panel for the next few years, I'm pretty sure. Maybe the next 10. All right, let's see where I am in my questions. Let's see, I'm starting to lose track. Helen, I hope I didn't skip you. It's hard, I should just keep going in a row, I think.
Yes.
All right, then I guess I would be at Eleanor. Eleanor, who was your favorite president and why?
Franklin Roosevelt was my favorite president. He just was a wonderful man. He did a lot for our country. That's the way I feel.
Nice. Nowadays, you're afraid to say anything. You know, nowadays, if you say something, you're going to upset your friend who has different politics. So it's so forbidden. But I knew she was the one. I asked some of these questions ahead, and Eleanor was definitely interested in politics. So she had her opinion and was very free to share. Yeah. You like politics too? Do you want to answer that question too? Oh. She's politically correct. So she's not going to answer that question. So the next question goes to Yvonne. Yvonne, how many children did your mother have?
10.
Wow.
But she got 3 of them that passed away very young. There was diabetic in the family. And then she was, I forgot what I was doing.
That's okay. Well, and how many children did you have?
4. 2 boys and 2 girls.
And how many grandchildren did you have? Half our audience, yes.
14.
14 great-grandchildren.
No, grandchildren.
Oh, grandchildren? Okay, I'm afraid to ask. How many great-grandchildren?
I've got 5. We're gonna sign. We're gonna go have pictures for the 5th generation. generation, all girls. After having so many boys, now I'm going for the girls.
Nice, so it all balances out in the end is what you're telling me, right? Nice. Wow. That's a big family. That's huge.
And how many great-great-grandchildren
Oh,
does she
no.
have?
She has great, uh-oh. Okay, great-great-grandchildren. Do you know how many of those you have?
Can I count them?
One, just one.
You're telling me you have one.
Twins.
One great-great-grandchild. Pretty cool.
Is he here?
I imagine he's just a little baby. She, I'm
yes,
sorry,
she-
she's a little
she's
baby.
3.
Oh, she's 3. Oh, wow. What a blessing. What a blessing that is. Okay. All right, let's go back to Helen. Helen, what invention occurred during your lifetime that caused the biggest change in your life? This is a question, by the way, that stumped some people.
The electricity, first of all, it was a gas bulb, then it was an electric bulb, then later on, there were so many different changes. Then the outhouse, and then the in-house. Every single thing that we know of now, I've lived through all of that. Isn't that wonderful?
It is. That's wonderful. Wow. The in-house, the outhouse, the gas bulb, the electric bulb, the automobile, the airplane.
Airplane and the,
Oh my. You don't happen to have a cell phone, do you?
no.
A cell phone? At some point, you just get tired.
I'm not a phone person.
You're not a phone
No.
person?
I only like it to, because of necessity.
Right. So she's a no-bones.
But I don't
Career
like to
woman.
talk on the phone and,
No,
no,
no, didn't get into that.
no.
If you'd have worked at Sherry and Webb, you might have been different, right? You know what I mean?
Well, I was on the phone a lot, my job,
Talk about that.
because I had to collect.
No wonder she didn't like chatting on the phone. Oh. Yeah, well, you know, it's a necessity.
Collect the money
Yeah.
to run the business.
That's right, they needed somebody like you. A lot of people bought those diamonds and they were like, okay, we'll pay you later. So, okay, where are we now? I think it's Eleanor's turn. Okay, keep me honest here. Eleanor, what is the best gift your husband ever gave you?
Well, I think the diamond he gave me, it came in days, that was the best gift.
That sounds like a good one. Do you still have the diamond?
No,
Oh.
my daughter has it, I've given her my jewelry.
That's probably a good idea.
That belongs to my daughter now.
Nice. How about you, Yvonne? Sure.
I wanted to know just how long you've been here.
How long I've been here? Oh, she's tough, switching the tables on me. I've been here 2 years.
Oh, I thought it was longer than that because I remember coming to me and saying, I want to take your picture with your walker.
I did. She was my model. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I actually used Yvonne as a model for, because I'm always snapping photos for a direct mail appeal, and guess what? It brought in more money than all the previous appeals that were ever written.
really enjoy my walk. I fell with them quite a few times this year,
Yes, you're really close to that walker, aren't you?
but you were very good to me.
Well, thank you. It's hard to be mean to you, that's for sure. She's so precious. And you know, I don't know if anybody knows, but I wasn't sure if she was going to be here today because she took a little tumble yesterday. And I didn't find out till about noon today that she was feeling up to it, and she was able to make it. I mean, I think we should give her a hand just for being a trooper. So thank you for... No, not for falling. They were clapping because you're here today, although you fell. Okay. I think we're now back to Helen. Okay. Alrighty, I think this is a question. Tell me about the worst boss and the worst job you ever had in your life.
I worked for one company, and I was on my feet for 12 hours. And when I went to supper, the cash was short, $10. So they took $1 a week away from my pay, which was only $10 for 60 hours.
Oh,
And
my God. Wow.
I didn't like that too well.
You know, they have laws about that stuff now. I don't think they could get away with that anymore.
Cents an hour, or 35 cents an hour. And right after my generation, the salaries went up.
Yeah.
Well, praise God on that one. Wow.
Social Security is low.
You know, I didn't ever think about that. That's true. Wow. Well, yeah, that's a bad boss. Yeah. And especially since they had no proof. She told me a little bit more when we were talking about it. And that boss had no idea. In fact, there was another woman who was on the cash register too. So I wonder if he took her $10 too. Hmm? Who knows?
I don't know.
You don't know? You didn't check with her, huh?
Don't ask.
Ah.
Ask too many questions.
Back then, yeah. Well, okay, let's see. Eleanor. Eleanor, were you a good cook? And if so, what was your famous dish?
Well, I learned to cook from my mother. She was a wonderful cook. And I was a good cook. I did a lot of cooking, I did a lot of entertaining. And my favorite thing I think that I did was, everybody loved my cherry cheesecake.
Cherry cheesecake. That's hard to take.
Abe's,
But the other meals, I always made lasagna and, I cooked everything you could think of. And I was really happy being a cook and feeding my family.
wow, fantastic. And Abe is signing up for your cherry cheesecake. I heard him remark about it. I think you need to bake a cherry cheesecake for all of us someday.
Well, I'd love to. If you give me the ingredients, I'll make it.
You know, I think she really would
I
too.
think she would.
The last cheesecake I made was for my next door neighbor before I left here. And she enjoyed it. She was a lovely neighbor.
What advice would you give to 20-year-olds today who are living today? What advice would you give to the young people today?
Boy or a girl?
Oh, we have different criteria. Okay, give a boy some advice.
So many things I can't even think of one. Well, that's my grandchildren.
What would you tell Nicholas?
What would you tell Nicholas?
What would I tell them?
Okay, how about a girl? What advice would you give a girl today?
Well, I think both children should listen and make sure they study what they're learning, that it's something that they're gonna be useful and handy for them.
Good. Sounds like good advice. How about you, Eleanor? What advice would you give to a 20-year-old today? What advice do you have for young people today?
I remember what I told you, listen to your mother.
That's exactly what she told me. Listen to your mother.
Listen to your mother.
That's right.
Do you hear that, my son? I'm telling my son. I'm just agreeing with you.
Where is your son?
Behind you, Abe. How about you? What advice do you have for young
He's
people?
making the video. Oh,
We can't give advice.
is he the
I'm not
dad?
good at it.
No advice
No,
isn't bad.
I
The
can't give anybody
kids,
advice.
kids everywhere would
Where I
appreciate you.
landed.
What's that?
Oh, that was supposed to be a joke. Look at where I landed.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think you landed on your feet quite well. Quite well. And you're going to be coming back here, I know that. So, on an average, Yvonne, on an average, why do you think women live so much longer than men?
Well, maybe they take care of their health a little better. Like these days, it's not like years ago, everybody smoked. But it's, I mean, they do, I don't know. I haven't had that experience.
Okay, let's move the same question over to you ladies. Why do you think women live so much longer, on an average, so much longer than men?
Well, I think they have more patience and they will put up with a lot. And they don't let as much bother them, I think, as a man would. They just take things as they come along, and I think that's what does it. Because I've always been very calm and accepted whatever happens in my life. There's been happiness and sadness, and you have to accept it. And the good Lord has helped me do this. So I think that's what it is.
Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful witness, too. And I'm going to ask you the same question. Why do you think women, on an average, live longer than men?
Because they find out what's wrong with them.
Sorry.
Take care of themselves, find out, and a fellow doesn't bother reading about it, they're not interested in that. They have a little headache, they have a woman take care of it.
I noticed that. It's like, honey, go get me the aspirin, or, I've got a headache, and then, of course, then the woman has to, figure it out. Like, oh, go do this or that. I think we have some really good scientific theories coming out of this discussion.
Sit with three men like I do every day, you find out.
That's very true. And you know what I like about Helen is, a lot of the times at lunch, a lot of the ladies sit together and the men sit together. And then one day, Helen joined us, and I noticed that Helen sat at the men's table. And I said to myself, that's one smart lady.
Well, I noticed that the men don't want to read about what's wrong with them, or about vitamins, or things like that. They're not interested. You try and tell them, they don't want to hear it.
That's true. On the whole, there's some
So what do you tell them?
There's some generalizations going on here.
All about
Okay.
vitamins.
Okay, I have one final question for our panelists. Yvonne, Why do you think it is that you made it to 100, almost 101?
Oh, that's a tough one. So many things. Just taking care of my health right now is a big thing. Make sure that you have the right medication and right friends to be with, and keep yourself busy.
Anything else?
Well, I was, until I had lost my sight, I was a great, so they told me, bridge player. And that was my favorite sport, playing cards. And I've been here 10 years, and now there's hardly anybody, but we had such a good group and good people. You know, they loved playing cards and keeping busy that way.
Great. Well, keeping busy and playing bridge, that certainly kept your mind very sharp. Yeah? All right, Eleanor. I'm going to wait for you last, I think. Helen, why do you think you made it this far in life? How come you made it to 90, almost 98? How come you made it to almost 98?
Well, I think it's the food that you eat. That means everything, I think, in your life. Food.
What type of food did you eat?
Well, the vegetables and certain foods that my mother made and things like that. But a lot of cabbage. Cabbage is very good for you. Things like that.
I think we're all going on a cabbage diet tomorrow. Thanks to you.
Eat a lot of it too.
All right.
Don't gain weight.
I'm going on a cabbage diet. And she also told me another food. She said she ate a lot of oatmeal. As a career woman, she ate oatmeal.
Well, everybody knows that. Everybody knows about oatmeal. And, what else that's good for you? I can't think of it right now, but food that you eat, how you prepare it, how much fat you put in it, and you don't mix fats. Certain kind of fats, things like that.
Wow, nutrition, huh? Eleanor,
A little bit of nutrition.
how did you make it to 102? What is your secret for your longevity? You want to share that with us?
Yes, I would. I'm really surprised that I did reach 102. But I do have my parents to thank for raising me, and I learned from them, and I lived a good life, and I think that's the secret, really. Just be patience, just take things as they happen, and keep happy. Accept it, accept whatever happens in your life. And I think I've done that, because I've had a happy life. But I never thought I'd reach 102, really. I really thank the good Lord for giving me health. And I don't know how much longer I'll go, but I live here. This is a wonderful place. And somebody called me the other day and said, I hear you're in Winslow Gardens. And I said, yes, it's a wonderful place. They said, what is it like? And now I'm going to say something, and I don't know if I should say it. I said, it's like living in Buckingham Palace. Wow. And I sit in the dining room, and I see all those tables, all 6 people seated, all gray-haired women, and all I can see Queen Elizabeth in one of those tables. She just turned 90. And that's what I said, and that person just laughed. I said, well, it's true, it's like Buckingham Palace. It's a beautiful place, you walk around, and the scenery, the paintings on the walls, the beautiful drapes, the hangings, and the help, the service, and thank you for asking me.
Wow. I did not pay her to say that either. Wow. Holy smoke. Let's give a hand for all three of our ladies.
Not to take themselves too seriously and not to lose their sense of humor. That's the most important thing. And see a joke and everything, see a bright side and things. I can't word it. too
That's
well
right.
now.
Stay positive.
I want to
Stay positive. Exactly. Well, thank you, everyone. This was really exciting. I really enjoyed this evening talking with these three wonderful ladies, and I hope you did too. And I invite you all to go and join us for a little reception next door, and we're just going to have a little informal get-together where we can chat and you can ask the ladies even more questions. Thanks again.
Thank you, Lisa.